Disclaimer, I would like to point out that I did a poor job in communicating my point in a separate video about my personal relationship with religion and made the tone sound very anti-Mormon or anti-religion. And this is most likely due to it striking a personal nerve and creating a strong bias in my argument. And to clarify, this video is truly intended to bring up a non-subjective perspective on what religion is and how it can affect humans in general throughout history, while giving a gentle nudge to test the boundaries of your own thoughts and belief systems. I'm not anti-religion, and in fact encourage you to actively follow what you believe, as long as you're within the moral confines of respecting others' religious freedoms, liberties, and beliefs, as you would expect your own. Essentially, don't be a bigoted hypocrite. It's really easy to follow. Please take all of this with a grain of salt, and without further ado, let's open up our minds and get into this video.
Question everything. Question everything, question everything, question everything. Why?
Question. What is religion? Answer. I'm going to water a lot of this down, but religion is defined as a social cultural system of designated behaviors and practices, morals, beliefs, worldviews, etc. Since there's no scholarly consensus over what precisely constitutes a religion, it can have a multitude of different meanings for people. This is in part due to the fact that the modern concept of religion wasn't even formed until the 16th and 17th centuries. That blew my mind, as there are like 10,000 distinct religions worldwide today. What's the reason for religion? Well, we talked about our basic human needs in a previous video, and religion may fill the human need for finding meaning, sparing us from existential angst, while also supporting social organization. Not only does it give us a sense of security, but also community, and motivates us to be good people. That is one of the great things about religion. Existentialism is daunting, and no mere concept to shrug off. Letting it fall on an omnipotent being's shoulders allows us not to bear that crippling weight of anxiety over existence. Anthropologists John Monaghan and Peter Just state that it seems apparent that one thing religion or belief helps us do is deal with problems of human life that are significant, persistent, and intolerable, allowing us to accommodate anxieties and deal with misfortune. Kind of sounds to me like a long-winded way of saying mental health therapy or stress relief, but I digress. Religion spread because of popularity at first, and then they thought they were doing something good and spread it to others in the interest of helping. They might have started with good intentions, and many modern-day religious folk are seeking to help others in the same way. However, several practices perpetuate societal issues, and this is where tradition can become harmful and toxic. Misogyny only allows men to become ordained, or assigning strict gender roles to positions in the church, and centering religion on what the correct version of family looks like. This hurts women and LGBTQIA+ people by telling them that their sense of self is inferior or less than a man. Extremely long story short, Western religious groups like Christianity applied their ideas and beliefs to non-Western cultures. Due to events such as the splitting of Christendom during the Protestant Reformation and globalization in the Age of Exploration, try saying that 5 times fast, the vast majority of these cultures didn't even really have a word for religion in their native language, and Europeans desired conformity and control. This led to misinterpretations and mistranslations, which merged ethnic and national identity, law, and worship from separate terms to all mean the same thing: religion. Christianity created a lot of the terms or concepts that we're familiar with today. Learning about both parts is what creates the whole picture, and it really starts to become clear what the true intent of religion is for the people in charge of it, which is an important distinction to make between the followers versus the leaders of the religion. We all know where this is going, probably because we've either dealt with it personally or want to avoid the topic entirely. So like I mentioned earlier about Christianity and how they desired conformity, and they also desired to control the people around them for their benefit by lying, changing the facts, or other manipulation tactics. I know that's vague, so allow me to clarify. If you've ever been part of a religion, for the most part, questioning your faith is seen as a bad thing, and that you're going to fall into sin by doing so. What this does is makes you afraid to seek answers for yourself and do any sort of actual research, because you'll be ostracized, shamed, or punished, whether that be eternally in hell or scolded by the church. For example, if you were to ask an atheist why they believe in what they believe, or just even socializing with them would be met with harsh feedback from your peers. This is where the lying or sharing of assumptions about an outside perspective will be expressed to deter them from asking any more questions. If someone is lying, what would they do to try to prevent someone from figuring out the truth? They would hide or deny any and all evidence disproving their lie, like telling them that any outside source is false and will lead you astray, down the wrong path, etc. Well, what if someone isn't lying? Researching and critically thinking would just prove that it's the truth, correct? Nothing to lose then. Example, if I was indoctrinated from birth and told that the earth was indeed flat, and that I shouldn't listen to round earthers or scientists because they're lying about it, I would have no reason to believe that my support system would lie to me my whole life unless I somehow received an outside message, or undeniable evidence to suggest my beliefs could be wrong. That would start cognitive dissonance, and lead me to do more research about the world. And once I deconstructed my belief system, my family or peers would be upset for abandoning them and their beliefs. I'd be the black sheep, if you will. So you see this quite often with ex-members of religion. Just because they are seeking out their own answers, that's a bad thing? It's not. It's really not a bad thing to do research, because if you did research and it lined up with the truth, then you wouldn't have to worry about doing research, because then you know for a fact. That's what I'm getting at, is that doing research is seen as a bad thing, because then it would conflict with the lies. But if they aren't lying, they would support you doing research, because they're like, yeah, you believe that the earth is round? Okay, do research. Yep, there you go. It lines up. Cool. Like, there's nothing that can go wrong from doing research unless it's a lie. Why do people stay believing a comforting lie rather than confront the uncomfortable truth, even if they know the truth will help them long term? The conflicting truth creates cognitive dissonance. Plus, the beliefs are deeply rooted in one's sense of self, and removing them would leave one vulnerable and unsure of their identity. That is a very valid thing to fear. No one likes being in an uncomfortable situation, and the fear of the unknown, or change, is one of the most basic human fears that we have.
It's time for a mindful moment. We can take a moment to check in with ourselves.
Alright, I'm going to be joining alongside today's mindful moment, but essentially for context, this following video is going to be experts on either side of the religious or scientific spectrum, right? We've got Bill Nye and Ken Ham, both respective experts in their field, right? So I'm just gonna basically be analyzing and picking apart what is going on in this specific part, because there are quite a bit of clips that I found on TikTok, and this one I felt like was best and easiest for me to pick apart and analyze exactly what the theme of this entire thing is, because previously in this interview video thing, Bill Nye essentially was like, there is literally zero scientific evidence to suggest that what you're saying about the Bible claiming there was a flood 4,000 years ago, there's literally zero scientific evidence to support that. Essentially, he's using science to disprove the Bible, and Mr. Ham is very flustered and like, why are you attacking my beliefs kind of thing. And you see this a lot, and like what I've been saying, their sense of self is being attacked because their beliefs are so deeply ingrained, right? So anyway, we're gonna take this apart bit by bit.
Why do you ultimately, because ultimately when all these people die, they're done, and nothing has any ultimate purpose, so why does it matter? Why does it matter ultimately?
So let's be clear.
He's having an existential crisis.
What we do is make more people.
And Bill is just explaining what the actual purpose of life is. There isn't some grand plan, this is what life is.
Why does it matter ultimately?
My claim
And he's like, why does it matter then? If there isn't divine, then what's the whole purpose?
Is a result of the main idea in all of biology, evolution. Not only is evolution the main idea in biology, but what you feel is also a result of evolution.
But why does that matter if you're done when you die? I mean,
he's like, well, then there's no point to life then. If God doesn't exist, then there's no point.
You're asking fundamental existential questions. This is great, Mr. Ham.
It is wonderful. That is literally
the idea is to pass your genes on to the future.
But they're going to die and be done too. So
but they'll become
existential crisis. He's having an existential crisis.
Maybe they'll find out what happened before the Big Bang.
What does it matter?
Maybe they'll determine whether or not the core of Jupiter is hydrogen acting like a metal, or if it's really metal.
And why does that matter?
To live life,
because
to understand, to learn, to grow, like everyone does. That's the point of life.
And why does that matter when they're done?
Because what we do is live. The meaning of life is to live and pass your genes on.
Simple as that. You don't need some grand scheme of things to exist.
So why would you leave the world worse than you found it? I mean, that's my
Thank you.
question. Why would you be obsessed with teaching people that humans are not causing climate change? Why would you take a book?
See how Bill is asking all these questions?
The world for yourself? Actually, that's the mystery.
Question everything.
Because we sinned against a holy God, and now we live in a sin-cursed universe.
So, I've spent some time in Japan last year. They don't have any tradition like that. What's wrong with that?
Actually, there are cultures all over the world that do have such traditions.
Well, but not the one I spent a lot of time with.
Some people.
And before they eat, They thank the people that created the meal because they...
Essentially, just being a decent person.
Even thank people. I mean, there's remnants of Christian thought all
They're
over.
not thanking God, who doesn't. They're thanking the people who, you know, are real, who they can see, who they can appreciate physically. Because, like, if you're gonna treat people like garbage,
if we can empower,
then why bother,
young
you know, existing? Like, it's just
discoveries to provide clean water, reliable electricity, and access to worldwide information to everyone in the world. That will be a very good thing.
But then they die and they're all done, so why did it matter for them?
Because they will pass their genes on and become some new thing.
But if when you die, you know...
Anyway, that's just a clip. I would maybe even do a whole entire, like, dissection of this entire video. But I'd have to, like, find it. Not on TikTok, so it's easier for me to, like, react to it. But it's just... because of all of those beliefs that are conflicting with reality, creating cognitive dissonance, he's struggling to grasp, he's struggling to deconstruct, and that's what causes all of those existentialist questions to arise. And so he's like, well, then what's the point? And that is, again, one of what we've established religion helps with, is answering those big existential questions. So to have an existential crisis after being proven wrong about religion, which being wrong about something is one of the things that Bill Nye claims to love about science, is that if he gets proven wrong, that's a new chance to learn. It's not a detriment to him or his intelligence. It's not an insult to him. It's not a personal attack. It's just an opportunity to learn, an opportunity for growth. And that is the whole point of life. That's basically all I have to say for this specific clip, but yes, I hope that clears things up a little bit. Anyway, back into the video.
Having to deconstruct personal beliefs or delusions and build your authentic self from the ground up is a lot to go through, but necessary for a decent, healthy, and happy life. Acknowledging, accepting, and knowing your true self reaps wonderful results and helps to cultivate a firm foundation for self-compassion. Now, why do some people feel the need to have an external motive to be a good person rather than just doing good for goodness sake? That comes down to their own motivation, whether it be extrinsic or intrinsic. Motivation is crucial because it allows us to change behavior, develop competencies, be creative, set goals, grow interests, make plans, develop talents, and boost engagement. Extrinsic motivation can be good in small doses, to give someone praise or a reward for their competence. This can be seen a lot in grade schools with young children, teaching them certain positive behaviors and such. Intrinsic motivations are freely chosen because we, the individual, desires to do said task. The hidden cost of certain types of rewards is that they undermine intrinsic motivation by decreasing the sense of autonomy and competence. Autonomy is one of those basic human needs that we have, and overusing extrinsic motivators can diminish your own autonomy. So essentially, your basic human need is not being adequately acquired or met. When the experience is intrinsically rewarding, life is justified in the present and not tied to some hypothetical future gain. Like a certain will assert that if I follow a specific religion, I'll go to heaven for following their set of rules or commandments. Basically, do good and get a good afterlife. Don't, and you'll get tortured forever. That'll definitely motivate me to follow those rules, but not out of my own intrinsic desire to be good. Instead, the reward I'll get or punishment I'll receive if I don't. Like children in school, it's a reward to control behavior. The alternative would be intrinsically wanting to be good because I have empathy and I don't wish to cause another harm. I genuinely enjoy helping others without any reward at the end. But please let me know your thoughts, questions, and concerns down below, and I might do a Q&A response video for you. And if you're new, you can click down below to subscribe, and if you'd like to check out any of my other videos, there's some more over here. But that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed. Have a fan-friggin-tastic day, and don't forget to question everything.